of the OFWs and wanting to come back to the Philippines, but also the song of mga tibak ng mga panahon na yun na gustong umuwi sa mga pamilya nila. Lalo na himig ng pag-ibig, love song siya ng mga ng mga lyrically, sa pagsapit ng dilim ako'y naghihintay pa rin. Kasi mga husbands nila gabi nang umuwi from the mountains, pwede na sila magkita briefly paggabi. Although hindi yung original na intention ni Ma'am Lolita when she composed the songs, it changed based sa kung sino yung naka-receive ng message. And I think that's what's important in art, even in movies, na parang when you watch a movie, you take away what you can from it personally. And unlike what the AFP is saying, the purpose of the film is not to brainwash anyone. No one can hypnotize you into believing something. Ang point of making a film that tackles political issues is to make an argument, to make a point. Whether you believe that point or not is up to the audience. Whether you buy into it is up to you. Of course, my question pa rin of how well that point was made and how convincing was that point. So we leave that up to the audience. And what we are discovering now is the film is connecting to people na ganito yung pinagdaanan at ganito yung struggles. Actually, sobrang flooded yung mga inbox namin with messages of people saying na ganito yung pinagdaanan namin, ganito yung experience namin. And what we tried to do was to give people hope. Kasi if I'm being honest, bago ko ginawa yung film, pinag-iisipan namin what the direction will be. And kausap ko yung some of the movements that fight against tyranny and who are stopping the return of dictatorship. Ang sinasabi nila sa akin, we are not winning any victories. So, nagdudwindle yung membership, people start feeling hopeless. Kasi hindi daw sila nananalo. Kaya yung point ko is, the point is to fight for what's right, not to win necessarily. Winning is great, but that's not the point of the battle. So we wanted to create a film that's more hopeful, that's more encouraging to people. But, as luck would have it, recently may victory. Merong major victory at may na-convict. Yay!
Paano yung expression ko po, kung anong reaction ko po. And yun lang po kasi minsan po, nagkakamali po ako. Siyempre, ayun po, mabait naman po si Direk Kip. Thank you po.
Daming insights. Ano ba? So, can I answer? One thing na nakatulong sa kanya was to actually, so in the scenes that kailangan mag-emotional about the mom, nalabas ko yung actual mom niya. Si mami, yan, ang laking tulong mo. And nahirapan kami cast yung bata. To the point na hindi nga namin lang kung tutuloy pa namin yung film kasi hindi namin mahanap yung kid. Ayun. Kasi lahat ng mga kids sa Pilipinas sing-song eh. Katayin nyo na lang ako, diba? So yun. So nahirapan kami. Buti na lang nahanap namin siya.
Hirap yun, ano? So, paano mo i-direct yung sarili mo, diba? Hirap na paano mo yun, eh. Okay? May pagkain tayo siya.
Mag-budget lang, 9 days na kasi namin siya sinute, tapos yung gubat, isang araw lang. Maraming na-cut out na scenes. Anyone who's shot an indie film would know this, na parang you're really under the mercy of circumstances, so you have to prioritize. If I had much more time, like if this was an episodic 6 episode thing, I would have wanted to explore more the life in the mountains. So really funny stories that I uncovered there. Would have probably gone more to the past ng Liway. Pero kasi at one point we had to make a judgment call what our priority is, and our priority is the new thing about the film is really the mother and the son dynamic. Kasi I know a lot of great martial law era films that already tackle the broader socio-political landscape that tackle the history of the movement, that tackle Marcos and Aquino. Funny nga kasi this film has been accused of both being dilawan and not being dilawan enough. Kasi some people are saying, it's such a pro-Marcos propaganda. No, it's not. It's just a true story. I don't even talk about current politicians in the film. And then some people were like, bakit wala namang mention ng Aquino sa pelikula? It's deliberate, you know? And the point is, we don't want to preach to people who are already persuaded, who are already strongly for or against a particular party affiliation. Kasi sobrang dami mga tao na either neutral, walang alam, or side with the Marcoses but are willing to be persuaded. In fact, a journalist told me in Verona that some of her friends na very pro-Marcos, after watching the film, apologized to her and said, sinabi niya to sa program niya, na sorry, now I understand why you're so upset about libingan ng mga bayan. That wouldn't happen if you color it too much with the broader politics. So we are actually, sana may mabagong isip or sana you get people who don't think about it, thinking about it. And so, gusto ko sana ipasok yung mga bagay na, but ultimately we have to make a judgment call, what is this film? And this film is a story of a mother trying to keep her child hopeful during a dark time in our history. And another thing that some people will say should be in the film is, bakit daw wala yung contemporary politics? Bakit daw naging happy ending siya? Parang nandun siya. In the sense that you see it in the end credits, like the denouement of the film is literally talking about what happened after, that the struggle continued, that people kept moving. But more importantly kasi, I don't want to patronize my audience. I don't want to assume that my audience is coming into my film black, na wala silang alam sa lipunan, na hindi nila nakikita yung mga ginagawa ng mga tao sa lipunan ngayon. And what I'm hoping is, instead of a statement that says, oh, it's happening again, you will see the patterns instead in what the strategies were of that regime and the strategies that are being employed right now. For example, presenting victims in front of media as propaganda. We've seen that recently lang. Kahit na hindi namin sabihin na nangyayari pa rin siya, an audience member comes into the film and remembers that we had fishermen who were victims of the Chinese that were paraded in front of us, and they were saying we were so happy that they're taking our fish. So the strategies haven't really changed. And so the contribution of the film is remembering those strategies, remembering those tactics, so that we see it when the patterns are emerging again. Kasi what we should be afraid of now, in my opinion, is not that there will be an explicit declaration of martial law. Diyan kasi tayo sanay kasi si Marcos dineclare niya. From this point on, your rights are gone. But what's happening now is a slow and systemic erosion of our rights. Hindi lang naman sa regime na to actually, in even previous regimes you will see it. Dahan that they're chipping away in sa democratic freedoms natin, censorship, political abductions, si Carpenters na dito. Hi, Leah. So you see a systemic chipping away of our rights, and I think that slow and deliberate chipping away of our rights is more dangerous than an actual declaration.
Oh, totoo yun, no? Galing.
Apat kaso ang difference lang, apat naman. The only difference was apat. Ang only difference ng Norali here in real life is apat yung madre. Isa. Pero wala ang budget sa madre.
Ano tinawagan mo ko, Direk? Pwede naman ako mag-ahit. Okay,
Interesting yan kasi maraming mga tao who had a good time during the martial law. And maraming contrary stories to the Liway story. And honestly, that's okay. Kasi yun yung totoo for them. That's their story. Kumbaga, hindi naman tayo lahat pare-pareho ng pinagdaanan. Like, an entire generation of people was exposed to nothing but pro-Marcos propaganda day in and day out in TV and radio. Obviously, their perception will be good, di ba? And I don't discount naman that there were things that were good. Like, nagpatayo naman talaga siya ng mga tulay, nagpatayo ang CCP. So, totoo naman yun. So, the point of a film like this is not to discredit anyone else's version of the story. In fact, one funny story na share ko about this, which the approach that I like, nung isang screening namin sa Glorieta, may isang lolo, namimigay siya ng mga pro-Marcos poems. May mga poems siya about the glory of Marcos. And umiyak siya kasi bakit daw ang sama ni Marcos sa film. So, wala na si Marcos himself sa film. Kasi daw scholar siya ni Marcos. And I'm like, okay, that's your story and that's good. Kasi the way to respond to art, in my opinion, is making other art. Making arguments about it. Having opinions about the art. Diba? Magkaroon kayo na sarili niyong statement. I-rebut niyo siya or attack niyo yung argument. But the way to not respond to art is censorship. Because kung panahon ng martial law to, yung mga tula niya lang yung mababasa ng mga tao, hindi mapapanood yung pelikula namin. And that's the difference. And that's why democracy is so important. Because it allows that space for all these stories to emerge, not just one story. And which is why an entire generation of Filipinos were exposed to nothing but pro-Marcos narratives. Kaya hindi ko sila sinisisi. Hindi naman nila kasalanan. Sistema ang gumagawa ng problema.